Hey guys, it's Laurel. Welcome back to FLOSSTUBE number 7. I hope everyone has been well and been getting lots of stitchy things done. I am filming this video on Saturday, January 14th. I don't know if it will get loaded today or tomorrow or the next day, I'm not sure. I got a new computer, so I'm going to try it out. I tested a little bit yesterday and I hope the sound will be better. I hope the picture's better. The colors look a little weird to me right now, but I'll tweak that a little bit as we go along and see if I can make that work. So welcome back if you are returning, and welcome to if you are brand new. I'm glad you stopped by. I'm going to go over some cross stitch and quilting projects today, talk about plans, and show you some haul. So I want to start by saying thank you to a couple floss tubers who shouted me out this past week. Sarah with Sarah's Stitchy Spot, which everybody knows is fabulous, mentioned me in her video, and I freaked out a little bit and rewound it and I watched it a few times, and I called my husband and I was very, very excited by that. So Sarah, if you're watching, thank you so very much for shouting me out. That was very nice. She had some very kind words to say and it's really appreciative. She's a really, really super nice lady. You can just tell, even if you haven't met somebody face to face, you can just tell if they're a good-hearted person, and if you've watched her, you know that she is that person. So I really appreciate that. And I also received a mention from the Paisley Stitcher, and if you do not watch her, you have got to go back and watch her last video. Normally, I am that person that when I watch a floss tube and people say, get a pad of paper or a pen, your favorite drink, your stitching, sit down, make a list. I'm that person. I wrote so many things down from her video. I just decided I just have to like save that video in my memory and know to keep going back to that one for the things that I want to get, because I love everything she showed. I love everything she's planning on doing. She showed so many hands across the sea charts and they're all beautiful. I love her taste in her choices, in her fabric choices, in her chart choices. The designers she picks, just wonderful. So thank you so very much to those two ladies. Very, very appreciative. And I can tell I've had a lot more traffic on my channel in the last week or so because of that. And very, very appreciative of that. So if for any reason you haven't watched them, please step over and watch them. They are both wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, okay. I am filming a little bit later in the day because my husband and I went to the Sanford quilt vendor show basically this morning in Sanford. It was fantastic. I loved it. So I'm a little out of kilter just because I'm a little bit off from my normal filming time. And like I said, it is a new computer, so I'm not going to try to do any editing and add my intro and my outro and my little nerd note in the middle. So I'll play with that later, see if that's something I want to add back. But I want to make sure that this will load up properly with the new stuff that I have. So what have I been working on? So I want to show you some things that obviously you've seen, because I do have a focus whip that I talked about last week and my progress for that. I do have a kind of an update on what I have for that. My focus cross stitch, my focus cross stitch piece for this month is Disturb Us Lord. And I had talked about I wanted to get back to working on Live on Little by Plum Street Samplers. And what I decided to do was leave my Live on Little Plum Street piece at work and work on that during my lunchtime. So normally I take my lunch. I talked about this before. I'll eat my lunch. That leaves me, 35-40 minutes of stitching time to work on. And just that little bit of time is very relaxing, and I am getting a little bit done. I mean, not great strides or anything, but this is the piece that I'm working on. Plum Street Samplers, Live on Little. I'm stitching this on a 20 count Ada piece of fabric. I am using all of the called for colors. I have gotten some more progress. I got more of the words done. I started the waves down at the bottom. I started that third tree and I worked some on the border flowers. And I love her borders. They are just so, so pretty. So I'm really looking forward to having this one done, but it is a very enjoyable stitch, and it's the first time I'm stitched on that small of a count, and I do like it. I was a little worried that it would be hard to get, you know, sometimes it takes you 30-40 minutes to get into the groove of your stitching, especially when you've been working on something else and then coming back to it. But it has worked out just fine. Within like 5 minutes, I'm kind of in my little groove of it. And it's nice and quiet in the office where I eat lunch, so it's not, there's no distractions or anything. So I think I will continue to keep that as my lunch piece. And that also keeps me from having to carry stuff back and forth every day. So that's very helpful. The next piece I'm working on, like I said, is my focus whip for this month. It's my Big Toe Designs, Disturb Us Lord. And this is one I saw on Mischievous Stitches FLOSSTUBE channel. And it's been a while back. She had shown it, and I think she'd started on it. She's using the called for overdyes, if I'm not mistaken. I am using the called for DMCs, the DMC conversion. So this is where I am. I had previously had some started on all these rows of words, but the rows were not complete. So I've completed the rows. Maybe the first one was complete or the second one, I can't remember, but I'm down to that next row. Underneath this, there are 2 more rows of words before I reach this floral band. I don't know if that's focusing or not, but I would like to finish this group of words by the end of the month so that when I pick it up next time, I will be into this floral band right there. So I'm enjoying that one, and it's on a 16 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed. So since it's an Aida, it's really good to work on, you know, in the evenings watching TV. It's a good TV piece, so I can still watch TV and kind of move back and forth with my eyes and not, you know, cause myself too much aggravation. So I did also have some new starts. So I had a start and a finish, which sounds really impressive until you see what it is, because it's a really small piece. Let me find something to put it up on. I'm sorry. Don't blink or you'll miss it. This is my start and my finish. I had seen a couple people stitch this. It's the pattern that's on the back of the Book of Days this year. And I saw a couple people had stitched it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really cute. I should stitch it one day. And then I was like, okay, that will take like no time. So I came home one evening and pulled a few floss colors and stitched it up. So there's my whopper start and finish. So I'm going to finish this into a pillow, and I think I have some cotton prints that are like has script and handwriting and stuff on them. I think I might use that as the back end, but that's my plan to do as a little pillow. I thought I might have that done before this video, but no. All right, so a while back I had gone to my LNS and I saw, I'd never had a hands across the sea chart, and I knew there's one that I want so badly. It's Anne Ufendale. I think it's so beautiful. There are several people that have shown it. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Paisley Stitcher showed this in her video this week. Somebody I watched showed it in their video this week. It is so pretty, but I had not stitched a Hands Across the Sea, so I was like, well, I need to get one, like a small one, and stitch it and just make sure that I can read the chart good and that I like it. And I know everybody talks about how great the charts are. So I was at my LNS and I saw one in her clearance basket. And I was like, oh, okay, clearance basket. This would be great. I love it. So I pulled it out, you know, asked her, you know, is it okay if I look at this? Just look at the chart for a second. She was like, yeah, no problem. Looked at the chart. It's really pretty. So I was like, okay. So I got it. I got some floss and some other things that I was there for. And I get up to the checkout and she looks at it and she was like, wow. Well, that's marked wrong, but I'm going to let you have it because we had it marked wrong. That was our error. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. Having no idea what a deal. Like, what a great deal I just got. So I brought it home, put it in my stack of stuff. Haven't looked at it in a while. Over the last few months, watching FLOSSTUBE videos, I've seen several people show Ruth Gibb. Yeah, the red sampler from Hands Across the Sea. And I was like, oh, I have that. I have that. I'm going to do that one day. I have it. Every time somebody shows it, I have it. I'm going to do it. So last weekend, I decided I want to try something new. So I got out I feel like Ruth is not right, but I think it is. But if not, you know what I'm talking about. So I went to pull that chart out. It's not the chart I have. I have Emily Ann Foster, which is a red chart, but it is not the red chart that I thought that I had. So very excited still to have this, and I've started it, and it's very pretty. And I just want you to know that I got this chart for $11. Again, having no idea the great deal that I got, and bless my sweet little LNS shop for honoring her price on it, because obviously she lost money on that sale, but I have helped her gain that money back with the purchases that I have made since then. But this is a really, really, really beautiful chart. So I've not ironed in my pieces, and I'm very sorry. I will try to do better next video, but this is where I am on this one. I'm stitching it on 28 count mushroom Lugana, and I'm using Schoolhouse Red 2/2. Now I would have, had I not already had this fabric, I did buy a bunch of 28 count Lugana when I discovered it and fell in love with it, and I do like it, but I would probably have switched and bought like a 32 count to do this on had I not already had it. So I want to go ahead and use some of the fabric that I have before I venture too much into the next count. But I do like it. And I have another red sampler by Lila Studio, LW 1884 or 1844, that I have ordered a frame for. I took that and Little Deed Sampler by the Scarlet House last week to Hobby Lobby and ordered a couple frames. I'm going to frame them myself, but I ordered the frames from them, and they should be here Wednesday. So by the next video, I should be able to show you those. And one of those was on my UFO chart to be fully finished this month. So that will take care of that piece. So I have worked on my to be cross stitch, and I've worked on my to be fully finished piece that I had on my UFO chart. So far pretty good on the stitching front from there. And then I did also talk about, I was torn between two pieces about doing for a New Year's Day start. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to do, and then at the last minute I decided to go ahead and start my initial choice, which was Wildflowers by Kathy Barrett. So I started this last Saturday, or maybe Sunday. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Murky Lugana by Picture This Plus. So when I started it, I started up here in the corner with this star, which is beautiful. And I'm using the DMC. She had said in a video, or maybe it was Liz Matthews, but I think they were in the video together, and they were talking about this chart, and it calls for MPI silks, but they said that they put great effort into doing their DMC conversions to make it truly accurate. They just don't have a generic conversion chart that they use. They do a true conversion for each piece, and I think the colors turned out really, really well on this with the conversion. So here's my star. So the star is finished, and I've started on the flower down here. This morning I worked on a little bit, and I wanted to come down. This is a quarter of the height. I wanted to make sure, because I was kind of close on margin, so I wanted to remeasure, make sure I was right before I put all that stitching into it. So the black border right here in this star took me, just the black border, not the whole star. The black border took me like 3 hours. And I was a little distraught because I love this piece of fabric. I love this chart. I really, really, really wanted this to happen on there. But of course, picture this plus 32 count. There's some shrinkage. It was so tiny. The holes were so tiny, and I was having such a hard time seeing. So I was basically just feeling, dragging my needle across the bottom of my cloth. And like I said, I was getting really frustrated. Now, yes, I can buy a magnifier. I do not want to buy a freestanding magnifier because my entire house, other than the bedrooms, are just completely open windows. We do not have blinds. We do not have curtains. We live out in the country, and we like the openness when the natural light comes in. And I do not want to have a magnifier just sitting in my living room, because I've heard horror stories of, you can burn your house down, when things aren't covered and taken care of. So I was like, I need to find some kind of alternative, because I know I'm not going to be able to stitch on this without some kind of magnifier. So my nerd note item, I'm just going to go ahead and do it right here in the middle. I went to Hobby Lobby just to see what kind of magnifying options that they had. So I found this little set of magnify clips that go on your glasses. They clip on, super easy, and they clip up, or flip up, flip down. So I was like, $10, I can try that, because they're glasses. They come in this little case. As soon as I'm done, I put them right back in the case, just to see if that's something that I want to see, if I need to invest in like one of the portable magnifiers or something, because they're a little bit pricey. And yeah, if I need them and I'm going to use it, I can't do, like I said, the floor standing, but I was like, I can try this and just see. And I just want to tell you, game changing. $10, Hobby Lobby, game changing. They're 2.25 magnification, I think. Now, I did have a morning where I tried to put my husband's readers over my glasses a couple weeks ago to try something, and that didn't really work very well. But I can't just do magnifiers because my vision is not great. So I need my vision, but I need the magnification. So this is perfect for me. It has sped me up. Well, I don't want to say it sped me up greatly, because I'm not a super fast stitcher, but it did help me get back to my regular normal stitching speed using those. It made it so much easier. So I'm very excited about that. So that's what I've done so far stitching wise over the last couple weeks. I did decide I would like to add something else to my rotation. I think that I want to, on Wednesdays, I want to incorporate some smalls into Wednesday. Reason being, right now my focus piece is very large. It's huge. So it's fine to work on at home. It's fine to work on if I wanted to take it to work and work on it during my lunch hour, but I already have my lunch hour piece. But I would like to have something that I can take with me, because when I leave work on Wednesdays, I work like two miles from our church. So and I live 30 minutes away. So I just drive the 2 miles to church, work on my stitching until time for church, and then, just go home after church instead of driving back and forth. So I would like to have a small piece that is super portable and easy, something probably on a 28 count or a 16 maybe, that I can transport and just use for Wednesday and have little if I'm sitting in the car or if I go into church early or whatever. So I do think I might pull out some of my patriotic smalls and try to incorporate those into Wednesday. So if so, I will have another new start next video. However, it is January. I've been watching all the videos, and you can't help but have startitis in January. All the Whip Parade videos and plan videos are coming out, and everyone I can fit into my day, I'm watching it. They're so inspiring, and I just, my hat is off to all of the floss tubers and the time that it takes to put into these videos. I did not understand before when they talked about how much time and effort went into it, but it's a lot. So I am very appreciative of all of you that are out there. If you have a new floss tuber that has just started that you're aware of, that has just put out a whip parade or a 2023 plans parade, please listen below so that I can go and look at them. I would love to see them, and other people can look at that and see. I think it's very important that we support new floss tubers that are coming out, because I love it. And I don't, sometimes people will say, well, I don't want to show you this because I know such and such probably showed you. I can watch it over and over and over again. It doesn't hurt my feelings. So if you have that new person, please put them down below. I also am very intrigued. A lot of the videos, I would say 70% of the ones that I've watched has one of the Hawk Run Hollow charts or a Mirabilia or both. So I'm just curious, if you're one of my subscribers, or even if you just pull this up as first video you've seen, I'm just very curious if you are doing a Hawk Run Hollow piece, if you would list it below, or if you are doing a Mirabilia, list that below. I'm just curious to see who's working on what. If I was to do a Hawk Run Hollow piece, I think I would choose the map of Hawk Run Hollow. That one calls to me more than the others. I do have some lavender and lace charts from many years ago. I have 3 or 4 of those, and I'm going to try to find those and maybe show them in another video. That I would like to do, maybe, you know, at some point. But everybody doing the Mirabilias or Nor Corbett charts, you know, it just brings back memories. I don't even want to tell you how long I've had these charts. Very long time. Okay, so I got a couple pieces of cross stitch haul that I'm going to show, and then I'm going to move over into the quilting portion. I do have kind of an idea for the next video about something I want to do, but I just couldn't fit it into today. So if I seem a little rambly, I'm sorry, but I hope that you'll come back next video to see what I have to show you for my cross stitch also. But I'm going to take these out of the plastic. I do have a couple other things on order, and I know there's a lot of new stuff coming out right now, and I have my little list started for those. And I've tried to be a little bit conscious of the stuff that I'm ordering and really only order if I'm just truly in love with it. But I'm truly in love with a lot of it, so I just can't help it. But Heartstring Samplery, I love her stuff. And I don't know, I hope this is focusing okay. If it's not, I'm sorry, but this is Winter Comes. I just love the verse that's on this. I initially, when I first saw it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was an exclusive somewhere. I could be wrong, but when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this one. Oh no, I'm definitely doing this one. There is another one, the Plum Street Sampler, with the big red barn, that everybody's been waiting on this happy morning. I don't know why I'm having a hard time remembering things, but Nicole's Needlework started that on Black Swan. It is to die for. It's just beautiful. So right now, anything on black is just calling me. Love it, love it. And I do actually have a hands-on design piece. It's the winter chalk. Let's Talk Chalk. That it was my intention. That is going to be my snow piece. And actually this morning there was a teeny tiny little bit of snow that happened before we woke up, and we could see just a little bit on the swing on the back deck this morning. So technically I could go ahead and start that, and that would take care of my black cloth fix for right now, but I don't know, we'll just see. So the next chart I saw, and I don't even know where I saw this, maybe somebody had it listed as a new item or whatever, but I really like Artful Offerings. Her charts are really cute, and I was looking for something to do that was Valentine-y but not too cutesy Valentine-y, because I have some cutesy Valentine to work on, but I wanted something a little more subtle, I guess. So I saw this, and it just says everything all in itself. So I am planning on starting this one in February. I don't know if I'll hold on to it and start it on Valentine's Day, but I truly love this piece. And my thought is, I think I'm gonna coffee tea dye some of my Lugana and maybe do it on there. I do have some 32 count somewhere, so I might do that, or I might do 28. I'm not sure. I need to look at the size and see, because I've purchased several square frames just to kind of have on hand. I want to see if I can maybe stitch it to fit in one of those, but it's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So if anybody's interested, February start, jump on board. Maybe, you know, some other people stitch it too. I'll get myself motivated a little bit. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to move on to the quilting portion. And I do normally have a little bit of a pause right here, but like I said, I want to try to do this just in one shot and upload it and make sure everything turns out okay. So I'm going to go through my quilting stuff really fast. If you're not a quilter, I always say I would love for you just to stay, just to gander. It may be something you're interested in, something might catch your eye. It's always nice to, you know, see something different than what you've done. And definitely if you are a quilter, of course, stay tuned, see if there's anything that you like. But I have several things in the works. I'm of course behind in my plans for quilting, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. It doesn't stress me out or anything. My plans and my guidelines are just that. They're a guideline. I don't ever stress myself out or, you know, hold my foot to the fire. I try to meet my goals, but it's not detrimental. There are much more important things in the world. So I'll just jump in and show you what I got going on. So, sorry, my focus whip for quilting, I have 2 lists for that as well. And I talked about this in the last video, I think, how I choose my focus pieces. But I have a focus whip, quilting whip, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, and I have a quilt top to be quilted piece. So I don't have my quilt top ready to be sent out yet. I still need to piece my backing. I do have some batting already, so it's just a matter of getting that sent out to my quilter, and she's super fast, so she'll have it back to me soon. So hopefully I can get that packaged up sometime this week and drop it off next weekend. But I did work some on my piecing whip. This is a scrappy quilt out of American Patchwork and Quilting magazine. This is currently the only quilting subscription that I have, and I absolutely love it. This particular issue is from October 2017, and it has so many beautiful scrappy quilts. So many. So I have had this on my list probably the last 3 years, and each time I get it out and I get a little bit more done, and that's fine. That's the purpose of it, is to get something accomplished. I do not, and I don't know that I ever have lived in the world of quilting where I only work on one quilt. You know, my mood changes and I have different things that I want to work on, and that's just the way it is. So I'm not stressed about when this is going to get done. It will be beautiful when it's done, and I'll use it when it's done, but until it's done, I'll just continue to chip away at it a little bit at a time. So I have put some of I had one row together. I did put another row together and then put the 2 of those rows together. So it's folded in half, and this is kind of where we are. So it's double that length. It is 8 of these blocks across, and it is squared. So she'll be a big girl when she's done, and it is batiks. And I know, oh, that color is just looking neon, but I promise it's not neon. It's bright, but it's not neon. So I have several more blocks done. So I think what I would like to do is just continue to build my strips and add my columns, and add the columns to the quilt so that I have one big piece that keeps growing. And then I'll do enough blocks for the next column and then add that over, is how I plan on doing that. So, and even after this month, I may still work on it. It's not that I'm not going to work on it after this month. It's just my focus for this month. All right, so one of the other projects that I have, and I talked about this is one of the quilts that I'm doing with a group of friends. There's 4 of us, and we have 2 quilts picked out to work on together this year. This one is Barn Star Sampler, and if you're a quilter, I'm sure that you've heard the rage about this book, that everybody is looking for this. You can't get it anywhere. It's sold out. It is published by Martingale, who is no longer going to be publishing. So from what we have heard, the author is, I guess she's buying the rights to the book maybe. I don't want to speak out of turn, but there will be these books again in the future, is my understanding. It's just going to be a little bit of time before that happens. There is a sew along or a quilt along also with Fat Quarter Shop that starts February, March or something, which is where I saw it initially. But I do hope to go ahead and start on this one sometime this week. At least get the first 2 blocks that you do, if you follow the book, are the I'm pretty sure are the 2 biggest blocks. So I'm very excited to get that done. But I did get my Fat Quarter bundle for what I'm going to use. This is a Riley Blake red, white, and bang. And it is super pretty. I would like to find, since I have like the light blue and the blue, it doesn't have any pinks in it. And again, I'm not a pinky kind of gal, but if I could find like a lighter shade for this to offset the red a little bit, I may add that. But I think and this probably isn't enough to get all the variation of the fabrics that you need, but if it's not, I'm sure I can find some coordinating Riley Blake, and you just can't go wrong with red, white, and blue. So I'm very excited about that one. It's going to be really pretty. Okay, so last time I showed you, I'm still working on my Liberty Box quilt. I had gotten all of my roofs done. So I did go ahead, try to keep them in order here. I did go ahead and do the next piece. This is a portion of the barn. So all of those are done, and this is the pattern. Home Sweet Home. So now all I need to do, I have these cut out, all of the star blocks. So I just need to do the star blocks, and then I can get those put together and get this hashing put in. So this one won't take long, and I love it. I've told you how much I love it, but it's just so many hours in the day. I mean, I do have an actual job. For whatever reason, they won't pay me to stay at home. So, I do have to go to work, and, I have to eat, and I have to sleep, and have to do laundry and all that stuff. So, that one is coming along nicely. But again, my goal is to get that one finished before the Teresa Kogut Patriotic comes out. It is on the coming soon page on Fat Quarter Shop, so I know it's, it's coming. It'll be here soon, but I really want to get this one done before it comes out, because I'm definitely doing that one. Okay, so the next, I'll talk about this one. The other quilt that I'm doing with that group of friends is the Murder Mystery quilt. And I'll just show you the little top here. Murder the Viking. This is something you can still sign up for. I think it's still open for, I don't know, maybe through this month, maybe, I'm not sure, but every month they have released the fabric requirements. Once you sign up and pay your initial fee, you get the fabric requirements. The first block has been released. Several people have already finished it. It's very, very, very pretty, this first block. The first chapter of the mystery is out. I read it yesterday, and it's really good. It's really neat that you have the mystery, and the way they have it set up, you're in a drawing for prizes also. If you guess who the murderer is, and you get your block done, and there's certain criteria that you follow, and there's private Facebook groups that you can get into to share your block and your guesses and everything. But it's a really neat setup, and I think they've done this for several years. They did have a video that was attached to the first release and I watched just a minute of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but several people have stated that they really liked the video and it was very helpful. So my intention was to do this whole quilt from my stash. However, the background piece, I didn't have anything that would work for it, and I needed like 2 yards. So it's supposed to be like a pale blue. So when I went this morning to the vendor show, I did get this piece. It's a batik. It's not really showing very good, but it has just a teeny tiny little hint of blue. So I think that's what I'm going to use, and I think I can probably find enough batiks in my stash to finish that first block. So I'd hoped to at least had it cut out. I had a little cutting party for myself the other night, and I'd hoped that this was one of the things I could cut out, but I just had a block because I didn't have a background that would work. So that will be on the list to get cut out also. And again, hopefully I will be able to show you that next video, but I'm not sure how much quilting time I'm going to have between now and then, just trying to keep everything flowing. I'll also, because, you know, it's January, I need to start all the things, all of them. And people keep putting stuff out here. They just keep on, and I can't stay off social media. I can't. And every time I see something, I want to do it. So this is free, so I probably could show it to you, but I'm just going to cover it up. But there is it's called the Moda Charm Pack Challenge. It is something that was put out by Moda, specifically designed for this weekend, to do like a little mini quilt. It winds up being 32 by 32 if you use a regular charm square pack, and it's really cute. It's like similar to it's not really a corporate star, but it's close. It's a star. So I thought that would be really cute. And I do, you know, I have a little addiction to pre-cut, so I have some charm packs. And last night I was looking on the website and following the hashtag to see if, you know, I could see what everybody else was doing, because obviously people are like pumping them out already. And I think it was Leslie Quilts on Instagram. She did one with mini charm packs. So, you know, I'm in the club with Fat Quarter Shop, and I have all these little mini charm packs. So I think I'm gonna have to do a big one, which is 32 by 32. That's not giant. And I might have to do a mini too. So, but I did look in my stash, and just to see, I have some charm packs that I have multiples of, and I didn't want to bust in the ones that I have multiples, because obviously they'll make a bigger quilt to use, and some of them I have picked for specific quilts, but I had a couple individuals, so I pulled them out, and so far these are the two that I think are in the running for that. So this one is Maple Hill by Kansas Troubles. Moda. So I'm very right now into like Kim Deal kind of prints, so this is kind of right up my alley right now. And then I also have a French General petite prints, and I mean, it's French General, you just can't go wrong with them. So, and my third choice, it would be really pretty, but I have 2 charm packs, so I would like to keep them together and make something bigger with it. I have some of the Maryland by, I don't remember who it's by, but it's like the beiges and the blacks. Super, super pretty. There is a new fabric line coming out. I just ordered the jelly roll. Let me see if I can find what it's called. It was very similar to years ago if you got some of the little black dress. I don't know if it's something that y'all love, but I have to tell you that when that came, I mean, it's been years ago that this came out. When it came out, everybody in my little quilt group, we all just had a fit. And like we bought it all up and we were just devastated when there was no more. I'm so sorry because I really want to tell you what this is. If I can't find it, I will put it below. I'm so sorry. Date Night. Date Night is the fabric line. So if you like that creamy grays, blacks, beiges, look that up. Date Night. And they have it out. It's I think it's by Basic Gray maybe, but it's you know, you can get all the pre-cuts, the bundles, whatever. Super, super pretty. Okay, so lots of rambling again. I'm so sorry. So as I said, the other night I had a little cutting party. So sometimes if I have a lot of projects or I have a really tedious quilt and I'm having a hard time getting a start on it, whether it be because I'm not motivated or because just time crunches and restraints and whatnot, I will just take a night and just cut. Knowing I will tell myself there will be no sewing tonight, there will be no pressing. I am cutting, cutting, cutting. That's all I'm doing, just cutting. And that kind of takes a little bit of stress off my plate because I know I'm only going to cut. I'm not going to see a finished product. I'm not going to see the result. So that's what I did the other night. I had just a little bit of time and I decided I would do some cutting. So this pile right here represents my cutting for Scraps of Kindness. It's a 6-part stitch along by Kim Deal. And what it is, I know there's seems to be, for whatever, there's tons of spool quilts right now that everybody is just all about, just loving, loving, loving. Well, this one, this is not a very good picture, but this one you get, this first one we got 6 spools worth of fabric and the patterns. The patterns are all in here to do. The blocks wind up being 8 by 8 finished, and the finished quilt is 56 by 64, so it's not giant. It's really cute, and it'll be, you know, cute hanging on a wall or whatnot. But I really like it. I do have like 3 other spool quilts patterns that have come along in the last little bit that I just want to do so bad. There is a threadology, I think it was like a Make-A-Wish quilt years ago from Fat Quarter Shop that I donated to and got the pattern. I want to do that one. Like, I want to do all the things. Start August, January. Start. So I want to stay on track with this one. And I know I'd said in a previous video I was just a little bit heart crushed because Fat Quarter Shop wasn't doing the Simple Whatnots by Kim Deal this time. And I saw a couple other places that were doing it. I've reached out to Fat Quarter Shop. They're not doing it because they're doing this one. They are, you know, promoting Kim Deal, but they weren't going to do both, so they're doing this one. But I was like, you know, I really want to do that. Well, I found like 3 other shops that were doing it, but they wanted you to pay up front for the entire time, and it's like 8 or 9 mini quilts. And I was like, well, I don't know that I want to pay for that all up front. And then I got looking. I have like 5 of the last one that I signed up for left to do. So I just had to restrain a little bit and not jump on and buy yet something else, because obviously I got a lot going on. I got a lot of things, and I will have my Kim Deal fixed because I'm doing this one. And normally she does eventually put those into book form. I think she also uses Martingale. I don't know. I assume exclusively. I don't know. So I'm not really sure how that will work. I'm sure that all of the designers will, of course, find another publisher, whether they buy the rights and publish their older books. I don't know, but I am at no risk of running out of quilt patterns. I have book upon book upon book upon pattern upon pattern upon pattern. It will be fine. I will be okay. But I do want all the things. Alright, so next up I have Socialites. This is the freebie from Fat Quarter Shop. There's 11 I think, blocks that have been released so far, and I think I've done 7. So I'm behind. So, but that's okay. I'll get caught up because they don't take a lot of time. It's just, quilting's different than cross stitch for me. Cross stitch, if I have 10 minutes, I will sit down and do cross stitch for 10 minutes because I will see some accomplishment. I can't sit down and quilt for 10 minutes if I only have 10 minutes because I'll feel rushed and I'll cut something wrong or sew something wrong, and I won't do that. So I have to have a little chunk of time to be able to do my quilting. So I will get caught up. It'll just take a little bit. So this is the last block that I did, and I think this was maybe 2 blocks ago, and it was just one of the simpler ones that I had not done yet, so I decided to go ahead and do it just so I'd have something done. But that one's coming along nicely. I like the colors. I am using Laundry Basket Quilts fabric. It was like a bundle that I bought a long time ago, so I'm sure these lines are all discontinued, but it is really cute and really pretty. All right, so I have a little bit of quilting haul right here in front of me. I felt like I had something else, but I don't know. As I said, or maybe I said, maybe I didn't, I don't know, but Primitive Gatherings, this blue and white right here, I feel like I've shown it in some videos past, but I just love it. I think it is the prettiest line of fabric. I bought fat quarters, I bought jelly rolls, I bought layer cakes, I bought charm squares. I bought a lot of it because it's beautiful. And then she did red and white. That was blue and white gatherings, and then she released red and white gatherings. Oh, Lisa, I just love these. So I was going to be good and not buy all the stuff, and I didn't. And then there was a quilt kit on the coming soon page. I signed up for notification. It became available and I bought it. So it is called Garnet, the quilt kit is. So it's basically, if you can see, it's made of 2 jelly rolls that are included in the kit, and that has some yardage. But look at the colors are just, because it's not like red, it's not in your face red, but it's a very, very pretty red. So this will be upcoming amongst all the other things going on, just because it is so, so pretty. I have done one quilt with the blue and white. I just need to bind it, and I've needed to bind it for a while. It's been done for a while. So maybe after that one's bound, I might reward myself and cut into this. But I just think it's so pretty. And if you look, sometimes it's just beneficial to order the quilt kit versus just piecemealing some stuff. It just depends on what your need is. But this was an inexpensive quilt kit. It was not a big quilt. It's a smaller one. It's big enough to be like a lap quilt, a small lap quilt, or hang on the wall. You know, it's not a bed-sized quilt, so it didn't break the bank to buy that. So you just have to be able to budget yourself out and pick what you want and know what's within your ability to get accomplished. So I had all this stuff going on, and I knew that I had all this going on, and I didn't want to go crazy with spending. And then we went this morning to the vendor show, and I did pretty good considering I bought that piece of fabric that I have a use for. It wasn't just buying to be buying. And then we stopped by a booth that had this quilt hanging up. This pattern is Abby Lane. It's by Abby Lane Quilt. It's called Suburban Skies. It's pattern number 226. Now, had I just seen the pattern, wouldn't really done too much for me. But they had it made up with this fabric. And the background is a Tim Holtz fabric. I don't know if this, I assume this is Tim Holtz also. I'm not 100% sure. But the background is a Tim Holtz fabric that has script on it, and it has some turquoise and some beige in it, and it is absolutely beautiful. And when we walked by, my husband said that is so pretty. So we went up and we looked at it, and they said kits were available. So we talked to the vendor, and she had actually sold out of the background pieces that went with it. People were buying the background prints. So she did not have any more. She said she had some at her shop at home, and she's supposed to email me to see if it's still available. But I was one of many that asked about that. So we are going to another vendor show in Statesville in 2 weeks. That's our plan. And she is supposed to be there. So if I have not heard from her by then, hopefully she will have it there. If not, I'm sure I can find something comparable. But this is so pretty. And it's a simple pattern. And I think that sometimes we get so carried away. I know I do with, being challenged and really liking that challenge of a very intricate quilt. And like I said before, if you tell me this quilt has 10,000 pieces, I'm like, I'm all in. Like, I want to do it. Like, I'm in. I take the challenge. I accept. But sometimes simple is just beautiful. And some of the prettiest quilts that I have made have truly been the simplest quilts that I've made. So there is also a lady that comes to these shows, and I've seen her at several shows before, and she has like a wool shop, and she does the penny rugs. I have tried so very hard to veer and stay away from that because I do not need any other hobby, which technically it is quilting, but it's different because it's a different medium. But Carol Saltbox Stitcher has been showing some wool, and the Calculated Stitcher has been showing some wool, and they just had some patriotic wool stuff that was so pretty. And there was one that I saw that was super pretty, and it wasn't very big. It was like a banner, but it was, to be the first piece, it was fairly large. So I was like, oh, I would really like to try that, but I just think I need to start with something small and just see if it's something I'm going to do. And I'm not going to do like I do with my other quilting. I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to purchase another wool kit until I finish this one. So we'll see, because like I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going back to that show. She will be there. Will I get this done in 2 weeks? Don't know. I would like to try, or at least have enough done that I know whether it's something I'm going to be able to do or not. So this is the one that I picked. It winds up being 8x9 finished. So I thought that was a good little start. And they had these cute little racks to hang them on. Little black racks with clips. So, if I get it done, we'll kind of see and go from there. So that's all my hoard of things that I have to show you. So I'm really glad you stopped by to see me. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know what you're working on. Love to see what you're working on. I will put my Instagram and email down in the description box. If this video looks better than the ones in the past, if the quality is better, let me know. Let me know how it looks on your end. I'm of course going to watch it back when it posts and just kind of see how it looks. Again, I'm really sorry. Like right now, this red is like screaming at me. So I apologize if the color is crazy neon. But I will be back in 2 weeks. I hope to have more progress on Disturb Us Lord and my cross stitch. More progress on Wildflowers on my red sampler. And hopefully I will have a patriotic piece started. Now there are 2 bigger patriotic pieces that I want to start this year, but I don't think I'm going to start them right now. I'm going to hold off for a little bit on those, and I'll talk about those later. But I do hope you'll join me in a couple weeks. Like I said, I have something special, a special topic that I would like to talk about next time, and I'm going to go ahead and start getting that ready so I have plenty of time to have that up and be able to show you everything that I want to show you on that. But again, glad you stopped by. Leave me some comments. Let me know. I want to know about that Hawk Run piece if you're working on it, the Mirabilia. If you have any quilt projects you're working on, I'd love to hear about those. You can message me, email me. Like I said, love to see what's going on with you. So hope you get lots of stitching done over the next couple weeks, and I'll see you then.